Hey there, welcome to this video. It's John here from Lead Genpreneur, and what we're going to do is talk about Google Ads bid strategies. So if you're here, you may be wondering which Google Ads bid strategy is best to use at this current point in time. Now, I'm here to tell you that there is no one best bid strategy. But if you watch this whole video, I'm going to outline the best overall strategy, meaning I'm going to teach you which of these strategies work well together over time so that you can get the most amount of leads out of your Google Ads campaigns. So whether you're a PPC specialist working at an agency, or you're an agency owner, or you're a freelancer, or even a business owner running their own Google Ads campaign, this video is going to help you choose which Google Ads strategy to go with from the launch of the campaign to when it actually matures and gets more conversion data. Now, before we get started, let's quickly cover our bases again, right? What are Google bid strategies and why does it even exist, right? Google Ads basically is an auction, right? An auction meaning if I type in, for example, window tinting Las Vegas or window tinting any industry and then a city name or whatever keyword, we're going to see these sponsored ads towards the top, right? And sometimes we might even see them in the map pack. But how does Google decide which of these advertisers get to go first, right? There's a number of factors, including ad rank, but one of those factors is also bid. That's how Google also calculates which advertiser goes, right? And bid strategies are those strategies basically that determine what your bids are in the campaign. So there are a lot of bid strategies that you can use, and you can see this Google article here explains each one of them. But let's talk about them and segment them out into what I like to call manual bidding and automated bidding, right? There's two types of categories of bid strategies. And let's first talk about manual bidding. Let's remove this here, and you'll see we have manual CPC. This is the old school bid strategy, still very much used in this day. Manual CPC basically means you're going to do bid adjustments at the keyword and ad group level. So it is a little bit more tedious, but there's a lot more control to it. And we'll talk about the caveats of manual CPC at a later time. Enhanced CPC is basically manual CPC using a little bit of smart bidding. And we'll talk about smart bidding soon. Now, automated bidding is these following campaign strategies right here that you can enable. There's maximize clicks, which is basically telling Google, hey, here's my budget, get me as many clicks as possible. And then Google Ads basically takes over and bids on your behalf and gets you as many clicks as possible. Now, there is a limitation to this that you can set in the settings of the campaign, which lets you put a CPC bid limits, where you basically tell Google and tell them, hey, I don't want to pay over X amount when it comes to bidding for cost per click. Okay, we can go into more detail about that later. Now, the second form of automated bidding is maximize conversions, basically telling Google Ads, hey, here's my budget, get me as many leads as possible. Okay. Then there's a more responsible way to do it, some would say, which is maximize conversions with target CPA. CPA meaning cost per acquisition, cost per action, some would say cost per lead. The thing about these yellow ones here, maximize conversions with target CPA or enhanced CPC, is that Google needs conversion data. And when you launch a campaign, you're not really going to have that conversion data right away, which begs the question, right? Which one should you use first out of all of these bid strategies? Now, a quick note, there are more bid strategies, as you saw in the Google Ads article, right, the support article, but these are the ones that most people use when it comes to getting leads for your business or your client's business. These are the ones that are time tested and that a lot of PPC professionals use. So which one should you start off with? Now, manual CPC or maximize clicks, here highlighted in green or with green borders, are the ones that you're going to want to use for the first 30 plus conversions. Okay, you need to get at least 30 plus conversions in our experience to be able to then switch to enhanced CPC or maximize conversions or maximize conversions with target CPA, right? These yellow bid strategies are not that great if you don't feed them historical conversion data. So it's important to have a landing page for your Google Ads campaigns that are highly focused on conversion. Now, if you need help with this, we do have a conversion focused landing page checklist for Google Ads. So if you need help getting those first initial conversions for your Google Ads campaign, definitely check that out. It's 100% free. Check it out in the description below, and it'll help you get more conversions, especially when you launch right out of the gate. Okay, so we know that we need to start with manual CPC or maximize clicks, but which one should you use? That's a great question, and it's highly debated amongst PPC professionals. Now, manual CPC and maximize clicks, we use both at our agency, and it really depends on the client that we're working with on which ones we use. Typically, we like to stick to maximize clicks for the first 30 plus conversions. The caveat with maximize clicks though, okay, maximize clicks here, is that it takes 5 or so days for Google to go through what's called a learning phase. And that learning phase is quite bothersome in our experience, especially when the client wants to get leads today, right? When you're selling Google Ads, usually you say, yeah, you can get leads the first day or the first week, which is typically true. We've gotten conversions when it comes to using maximize clicks, but sometimes it's rather slow. But after the learning phase is out, you're out of the learning phase, the campaign's out, then things start getting a little bit more smoother. So about 90% of the time, we use maximize clicks, especially for those campaigns that we already have a lot of experience with. We use maximize clicks. Now, I'm going to make the argument for manual CPC here in just a few moments, but for the caveat when using maximize clicks here is that sometimes a client is going to want to up the budget or decrease the budget, sometimes willy-nilly, and sometimes they just feel like they need more leads. They can spend more money a certain week, and for that, you're going to want to use manual CPC. And the reason why is because when you do maximize clicks, or really any of these automated bidding strategies, they all have learning phases, 5 days of a learning phase. And when you have a client who says, hey, I need to switch the budget for this, can you please do it for the rest of this week or for today only? Guess what? These automated bidding strategies go back into the learning phase, which is not ideal because the client is thinking, oh, well, I just doubled the budget. I'm going to get double the leads. Not true, right? Especially when you're using maximize clicks or any of these automated bidding strategies, because you're going back into a 5-day plus learning phase. Okay, so that's just one of the caveats when using maximize clicks with that specific type of client. If you have that type of client, then manual CPC would be a much better use for you, because with manual CPC, you get to control the bid at the ad group level or at the keyword level. And this is going to be a lot better for those of you who are more, you want to see your ad and you want to see that you change this bid, it's going to move up in the ad positions, right? So that's manual CPC, but the caveat with manual CPC is that it's a little bit more tedious. So here's an example of tediousness, right? So last week we were doing an electrician campaign, and the bid strategy or the bid optimization, we were bidding high for this electrician keyword. And today, this morning, I went into the campaign and I saw that we weren't showing up towards the top. We were actually position 4 or at the bottom of the organic listing, so where no one usually clicks, right? The bottom of the ads, where the ads can show up. And that's because a new player, a new advertiser entered the PPC arena and started outbidding us. So we had to go back in there and bid higher amongst those keywords in that ad group, especially the keywords that we know convert, right? So that's a little taste of the tediousness when it comes to manual CPC. But you do get to have a little bit more control in that regard. So there is a pros and cons to starting off with either or. All right, let's fast forward in time a little bit. You've launched your campaign. You've chosen manual CPC or maximize clicks to gather your first 30 plus conversions. By the way, it doesn't matter which one you use, they both work. Told you the pros and cons already. You're going to have to experiment with your campaigns. Every campaign is different. They have different industries, different location targeting, etc. So if one doesn't work, then try the other. That's how it works, basically. Now, after the 30 plus conversion day mark, you're going to go with one of these bid strategies right here. Okay, you're going to choose enhanced CPC. Okay, if you have a client who needs to change budgets every now and then, or you're going to go with maximize conversions or maximize conversions with target CPA. Now, what I'm going to say here is I rather go, if I had to choose, with 1 and then 2 and then 3 here. Okay, if I had to rate them from best to worst, right? Number 1 is maximize conversions with target CPA, because after that 30-day mark, I'm going to know the cost to acquire a lead for that campaign, right? And the more conversions, the better. So 30 plus is just a small starting guideline. 50 would be even better, right? And then more than 50 would be even better before switching. But 30 is that threshold, okay, decent number to get over to automated bidding, which leverages machine learning, AI, Google's AI that just keeps getting better each and every year. Enhanced CPC is the best of both worlds. You get a little bit of smart bidding, a little bit of machine learning. Google still allows you to bid a certain amount per keyword, but it also calculates when that person is going to be able to convert better based off of historical data and actions that that user has done. And it's important to note that for all of these automated bid strategies that you're looking at here, 1, 2, and 3, Google has a tremendous amount of data on their users, right? They have their interests, their segmented their interests, how they click, what they're, a lot basically is what I'm trying to say, what device they use, when they use it. So it's definitely advantageous to use these type of automated bid strategies. Now, maximize conversions typically we wouldn't use, and the reason is because we can't set that target CPA. And we like setting this target CPA because it kind of gives us a little bit of control before we actually just say, hey, Google, spend as high CPCs as possible and get me as many conversions as possible. We like being a little bit more conservative, and sometimes when we set these target CPAs, it's a little too low. Sometimes it's a little too high. Sometimes it's just right. And there's a few strategies on how to determine what that target CPA is. These are strategies we talk about in our Google Ads training in more depth. But for the purposes of this video, definitely we like going with maximize conversions for clients who we have a lot of data for, and we let Google basically do the trick and get us as many leads as possible. The best case scenario is that we sit back and do less work when it comes to using maximize conversions with the target CPA. And the clients stick around, they're happy, they're getting conversions, aka leads. And with enhanced CPC, we check that checkbox on in the settings of manual CPC when we also have that type of client who needs to adjust budgets here and there and every now and then. Okay, so will this formula, right, this overall bid strategy formula, work every time? No, it's not going to. Sometimes your campaign, when you switch from manual bidding or that data collection phase and you switch over to maximize conversions with target CPA, it's not going to work perfectly every time. Sometimes you need more conversion data, and that's why it's important to have that conversion tracking set up. And sometimes that 30 plus, that needed to be 50 plus conversions before you switch to automated bidding. So the longer you can gather data, the better. But that's why the first month is usually for data gathering, right? And I like to tell clients, hey, it's going to take 30, 60, or sometimes even 90 days before we really hone or dial in this campaign. And the overall strategy is getting them over to a form of automated bidding. So I hope that answers your question on which of these bid strategies, these Google Ads bid strategies, is best for your Google Ads campaign. But for a while now, it's been this formula. So if you haven't been using this formula, go ahead and use it. Definitely worth giving it a shot. If you've already tried this before, give your feedback in the comments below. Like this video. If you have any questions, definitely let me know as well. We'll go into the comments and answer your questions that you may have there. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next video.